Hello, everybody, and welcome back to GCAC's channel. We're, of course, sitting here once again with Chief Executive Officer Brad Moore. And Brad, previously, we talked about your origin story, how you became the CEO. But today, we want to dive deeper into the company itself. How are you doing? Are you ready to get into it?
Good, Michael. Good to be back. Good to be talking to everybody again. And I'm always ready to talk about GCAC.
Perfect. So I guess the easiest way to start out is start us off with a very basic, high-level elevator pitch.
Yeah, so GCAC is it's in the business of better cannabis products. In medical, that means product efficacy, and in recreational, it also means better product quality, better for the brand to actually mean something. The biggest problem that we have is that every time 1 gram growing to the next gram just may be 100% different, and you really see that in the batch. Our goal is to make a better net end product for the consumers.
Yeah, that makes sense then. So is there anybody you guys could compare to, try to draw some comparisons, just how people classify you in their mind?
Yeah, well, so that's an interesting thing because when you think better products, you think better genomes, you think GMP and GAAP and all that kind of stuff. And then you think, well, how do I get that feedback from the consumer? You don't generally think about an app or blockchain, but if you truly understand what a blockchain can do, then you can get your head wrapped around by how simply attesting information and in a way on a public ledger and then providing consumer feedback actually provides that data set. It's all about the data that we provide from the cultivator to the consumer and back to the cultivator and everybody in between, like we talked about last time, makes for a better product, better business, more profitable, more sales.
Yeah, and speaking of that, kind of diving into the profits of things and such a little bit, tell me about the financial and stock health of the company. We had touched on it briefly in the previous interview, but can you elaborate on the company a little more?
Yeah, well, I think what everybody saw in this quarter, especially, is we went from being startup to revenue producing. We embarked on a story over the last 4 or 5 years, which was very much ahead of its time. And you know what? When you're too far ahead, everybody else got to catch up for you to commercialize. And like we talked about last time, something happened in Q4. And then when you take a look at the deal that we signed in the US with the Emerald Triangle cultivators and the marketing agency down there, that took us from no revenues, but it didn't just take us from no revenues, it took us into profitability. And like we also talked, it's been a bloodbath in the last 6 months for the CSC and cannabis companies. It just has been. But out of 41 or 42 companies, us being the 42nd, I believe I got my numbers wrong last time, but us being the 42nd, us still standing. We're profitable. We have vendor financing, and we have a big, sweet, fat pipeline coming.
Wonderful, wonderful. Talk to me some more about the patent, because obviously getting any sort of patent approved, a very thorough process, very difficult to get done.
Yeah, for sure. And, it's great. You can have business model patent, you can have technology model patent, but it's really about putting it all together. When you can't really patent blockchain, you can't patent KYC. So really, what is it we're patenting? We're patenting an outcome, right? And so then what we have to show when in the patent application, the model supported by the technology, and to be able to get it done through the United States and in Canada and in Europe, have a globally approved patent application, because nobody else is doing what we're doing, right? And that's the key thing here. I'm not patenting a new widget. I'm patenting the business modeling around the widget and what it takes to make the widgets and get it out there. And so the cannabis on the blockchain patent really shows how far ahead of the curve we are and our competitive advantage. And I think the reason, why we've been able to close this deal, get the license for Canada, get the vendor financing, and all the other good stuff we have lined up.
Perfect. And I guess to kind of wrap things up, is there any sort of X factor or catalysts people should have their ears kind of tuned to for the rest of 2022 here?
Yeah, well, so one of the key things is always educate people to really understand what is a working blockchain, because once you get your head even marginally wrapped around that, if you understand what the purpose of blockchain was crypto, and just imagine that in construct of many other things, you'll see that what we've built by having an app that the app, an actual app that creates a blockchain and then creates a QR and then generate it and make it visible through a QR code. Look, we started off in medical cannabis, and then we saw the problem that we could solve in recreational cannabis product, and it all boiled down to product consistency. We did a deal last year where we talked about an LOI, I should say, sorry, about working with a large CBD producer in Europe. And I got to tell you, I love the construct of CBD for pets. That's a crazy market. In the United States, the market cap for pet care products is $70 billion. It's absolutely massive. And these people like to know what's going in their animals. They're voracious. They spend a lot of money, and they like to share with each other. What we built, this solution about attestations, we don't have to reinvent the wheel with our app every time to be in many, many markets. And I see that market as a real unicorn for us.
Yeah. It sounds like there could be a lot of proliferation across multiple verticals, so to speak.
100%. If somebody's putting something in their body, whether it's you or Fido, we can help measure and get a better outcome for everybody involved.
Perfect. Well, Brad, I feel like you've covered a lot of the aspects of the business, but before we go, is there anything else you want to add?
You know what? Always happy to be here. Always happy to tell the story. GCAC is way ahead of the curve. The Fixie, Prescripti, all the things that we're doing are extremely cutting edge. And like I said, there's a lot of problems in the cannabis space. Honestly, what we're doing helps solve a lot of them. It really, really does. And you don't have to take my word for it. Do a bit of research out there, and you'll see for yourself, and you see why we're such a great opportunity right now.
Yeah. Very well said, everybody. Always do your own research. We have a link to the website below if you want to check it out. Don't be afraid to ask any questions, and we happily answer them. But for now, Brad, thank you for your time today.
Thanks, Michael. Take care.